Links to a channel here over at SubStars. Here's how I know we're not in peak BLM. I don't know, when was the peak? 2020 of that particularly R-slur period of American history. Is this got a 51%, so it's kind of dropping quickly. Congratulations. You're able to come out with an honest review, which now that I think about it, if Black Panther came out today, what do you think it would get? What did Black Panther get, like a 90% plus or something? It's like, oh, really? You're saying Black Panther is right up there with the top 20 best movies of all time? Really? Oh, yeah, that sounds like fear is what it sounds like. And then the one guy who gave Black Panther a bad review, they went after him on social media. The guy probably got death threats for that. Anyway, so how dare these soy boys give a black movie a bad score? And they can for one reason, which I'll explain in a minute. China is never beating the allegations. That's what they say on Twitter. Yeah, they don't care. They do not like black actors. Maybe I guess probably people now that I think about it. They'll openly tell you they don't understand why it would be politically incorrect, which is refreshingly blunt. Anyway, so what happened is they're trying to sell a black Mary Sue character in China, and yes, this is a Mary Sue. He's got wings. Oh, they fly now. So they removed the lead in the last poster, and in the poster before that, they turned down the saturation and they slightly kind of, I'll say, Asianified his features instead of what I wanted to say. So he wasn't so offensively black to the delicate Chinese sensibilities. And their reason for this is their excuse is, oh, well, you go up to this poster and it's like life-sized, and you stand next to it and it pretend like you're in the poster and you're fighting Red Hulk. Like, yeah, okay, that's a good excuse. That's pretty creative, but it also feels like what would happen if they did that in America? Anyway, it sounds like horse poop because it is horse poop. And the one thing to consider is AI is almost good enough that China will be able to just eventually digitally remove the characters and replace them all with probably Chinese. That's probably only 2 years away. And we can do it for the movies that we download as well. You'll be able to go online, find the movies with the cast you want, or just swap out the problematic non-European characters to make the movies feel like they were made without, globalist monkeypox and AIDS. I can imagine selecting your preferences in a movie, which is probably going to offend some pussies, but if they want, they can just make everyone a black, obese, trans, furry, otherkin. And I guess that eventually means Hollywood is going to do away with human actors, but by that time, people will be making their own movies at home anyway. Imagine remaking Black Widow, but de-age the women and have them lose 20 pounds of unsightly fat and bring back boobs and, just do whatever you want. You could, imagine like Airplane back in the 80s or even Scary Movie was pretty legitimately funny. You could just imagine making movies that were funny and politically incorrect. Yes, that means they're going to be offensive, but you can make them and it's going to be a lot of hard work and it's still going to cost money, but it's not going to cost what it used to cost. And then you should be able to disseminate them. And then your profit return, like if you only spend $5,000 on a movie, this might be possible. It's a couple years away and it's going to still require a team of people to do it, but it's like this is something that might actually happen. Scroll down to where they desaturate this image, which in itself looks like AI, or swap out Gal Gadot for an actual Greek actress and not a deleter of those under the age. Anyway, Hollywood loves to lecture us on morality, which reminds me, there's a rumor that the Epstein list is going to be released, which means all of Hollywood is probably going to shut down and probably all of Congress as well. So we are Hugo Boss wearing istophobes for not wanting, gay, diverse, feminism, whatever in movies. We want to take movies back to the vibe circa 1980s, where you didn't have obese, ugly lesbians kissing in the background with the child they bought at the sperm bank. And it seems like that's in every movie. That was in Star Wars and the Eternals. And their response to this is usually that gay and diverse people exist, which is, look, they kind of desaturated him. Which is kind of interesting because a movie is a fictional imagining of different civilizations, but that's the interesting thing about the fictional imagining of Hollywood is it always portrays the globalist diverse society as a positive and not as a negative that we know it is. It's the difference between globalist Star Trek and nationalist Star Wars. and people have been brainwashed to accept it because they slowly boiled the frog for, I don't know, at least 70 years. And the funny thing is, the proof of what audiences want is occasionally shown in movies like Lord of the Rings, which was only 25 years ago, or the original Star Wars trilogy, which when you think of it, when you think of Star Wars, it's Luke, Han, Leia, and Obi-Wan. The image of wretched hive of scum and villainy, that classic from A New Hope. And now the audience is not going to be as blunt as me in saying diversity is cancer, but they will tell you that the movies don't sell because the movies don't sell. That's a pretty good indicator. Where people put their money is the only thing that matters. What they say they want on social media is absolutely effing useless. Eventually Hollywood's going to awaken to that. Doesn't it seem odd that you don't see movies that portray nationalism or tribalism as a positive? At least not with fair-skinned and light-eyed people like me. Wakanda is their Marvel ethno-state, and it's portrayed as a positive because it's Wakanda. Now, instead of Afrofuturism, imagine a Swedish version with the beautiful people of the light. A bunch of blonde women are going to sell much better than any other group. I know no women are listening to this, but, no offense if you're not a blonde woman. So it's pretty strange that you never see those sorts of things. Anyway, someone should make a movie about why Hollywood is so anti-white. That would probably get you Epstein. Anyway, I guess the movie came out for the previews on Wednesday, and it comes out to the general on Friday, and it got horrible reviews on Rotten Tomato. Part of the reasons are it has 5 writers. That's a too many cooks spoil the recipe situation, and it's got massive reshoots, which turned a $180 million movie, which is a lower budget movie for Marvel, into a, especially for, I don't know, like, is this a secondary character or even worse, into it's a secondary character playing the role of a primary character, but it's race swapped. But it sounds like they ballooned this budget into a $300 million movie. And this is still going to make money. It's not going to be a bomb, unfortunately, but it's not going to make what it would have. And some of the reasons for the reshoots are that the rumors that the Harrison Ford president character was too much of a Trump parody. And they assumed that Kamala was going to win, and Black Girl Magic, or Indian Girl Magic, or whatever she's identifying as, to get votes. And thank God we dodged a bullet and we didn't elect the Red Hulk, who's the orange Cheeto, who is just destroying things left and right. If you want to laugh, go online, read comics, and find The Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing, issue number 11. After this video, go check that out and laugh. You'll try. You can't digitally tear it up, but you would if you had it in front of you. It's so. I could pause it. Maybe at the end of the video, I'll go to that Immortal Hulk number 11. Anyway, Hollywood is an echo chamber. It's like they're on planet cocaine, and we're just like in a different part of the solar system. Then the other issue is they introduce Sabra, I guess, which. Like, there are characters that feel like they're made for comics inside of Cheerio boxes, cereal box type of stuff. It's just characters made up on the spur that are not going to get them sued for intellectual copyright fraud or something. It's a character kind of created for propaganda. Maybe she can team up with Gal Gadot and yeet kids in the back. Anyway, with the current destruction of that country overseas with American bombs, which, thanks Biden and Trump, for some reason the character isn't too popular. Shocking, I know. And she wears a blue and white costume with a star on it. That's the costume in the comic book. Somehow I don't suspect that that's in the movie. They really should have just cut the character or replaced her, but they're in kind of a hard spot. If they did, they go, oh yeah, we're going to cut the Saber character, because then suddenly that would cause them some problems as well. We're just going to dial the character. Oh, where's she from? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where she's from. Doesn't matter. Anyway, it's interesting to see how political correctness comes full circle. I don't think anyone from that country is listening to this channel. How political correctness has come full circle and starts eating the left. So much of the consensus is the movie is just there kind of as a placeholder movie, and it's like that with low effort YouTube videos as well. You make something quick, and it's not great, but it keeps the channel on the algorithm. It's just kind of mindless filler material until you find a topic that you're actually interested in. And if you listen to YouTube, you see those videos all the time. And thankfully, there's enough cringe out there that there's enough stuff to talk about. But the thing with Marvel is it feels like they're wrapping up this genre. But unfortunately, there's nothing to switch to. And they've been doing this heavy for like 20 years. See, that's Red Hulk slash Trump. That for them to change gears would be that's a very serious expenditure of money, and they're not coming from a position of strength because Disney specifically has been in not making movies that have been finding an audience lately, and the Wu flu has something to do with that. But Hollywood in general. Hollywood in general isn't sure if they're going to recover from the Wu flu. Like if the big screen type of Hollywood version of Hollywood is ever going to recover, and that's where a lot of money comes in. People got out of the habit of going to the what they thought of as Typhoid Mary theaters when they could just stay home and watch Disney Plus or Netflix on the couch, and people realize like, oh well, you got a big TV at home, you got a sound bar. Is really, I mean, yes, a theater experience is a theater experience mostly because you don't have distractions in the theater. Like psychologically, you're there to watch the movie. You're not there to have a tablet in front of you. So that is something to be said for theaters. But a lot of people, like when you're out of the habit of it, you're just not going to, it just doesn't make sense to you. You're paying all this money for the streaming services anyway, and you have a 4K TV or something and a, bass speaker under your seat. You can feel the vibrations of the cars going by kind of stuff. Anyway, it's fine for China to think diversity is stupid to the extent that they whitewash the posters in China. If Disney was really woke as they claim, they'd probably they would be proud to put a blackface on the poster instead of having it just an empty spot where you can stand and take your picture. And if China didn't watch, they'd be like, well, we're sticking to our we have the moral high ground here. It's like China's the problem. Fix yourself, China. You're the istophobes, except they don't. It's the propaganda is only for a Western audience. Anyway, let's hope, when they get rid of the gay scenes for Chinese and Middle Eastern movies, and you go, oh, can we get that can we like order the gay removal scene? The Westboro Baptist version of Hollywood music. How dare you? It was like, but you literally have it for like the other part of the world. Are those guys like Nazis as well as us? Anyway, let's hope everyone in management at Disney gets arrested for the Epstein Island stuff, which is going to come out, and gets, after legal due process, a very public and hopefully humorous, I'll say, punishment. I want to see the person who's got the axe in his hand, wearing a Mickey Mouse costume. Oh, and one of the other things is one of the reasons why they're able to give this movie bad reviews is some of the left-wing complaints are that they wanted the movie to be more preachy about Trump, since in their minds he's literally Hitler 2.0 in office. Yes, they're mentally deranged, but that would have doomed the movie because people are tired of that level of woke. The Wonder Woman 84 where they dyed the guy's hair blonde was enough. And the other thing is Lana Locktiff said in one of her last videos, which if I can say that because it's the end of the video, is woke is not over. That like people are celebrating way too early. You're celebrating on things that have been said but haven't been done. They're having a lot of bombing movies, and some video games are losing a serious amounts of money. That's true, but they're not ready to dial it down yet, which is why it's better to wait for the audience reviews to come out before you spend your money. Like figure out and the audience score, not the professional reviewer score. See what normal people are saying to check the woke levels. You're playing some Dungeons and Dragons type of game set 600 years ago in Eastern Europe, and there's a sodomizing a 15-year-old in the game. I don't think they knew I don't think they did the math and figured out he was 15. Fair enough, but it's like most people just don't want to play a gay, don't want that in games. It just goes against their values, especially when the first one was like didn't have that kind of vibe. And then the guy, I think Larry Fink, came up with a suitcase full of money or something. And I mean, that was kind of weird. How they did that, and then they put a Moor, but the Moor was a sub-Saharan African or something. It's like, yeah, why don't you just make a movie about the Dahomey tribe? But instead of the French and English going to war to stop the slave trade and make them sell palm oil, it's the Dahomey tribe going to war against the French and English because we're going to turn history around. Oh, wait, isn't that just a lie? Yeah, it's a fictional movie, my guy. But the French and English and the Dahomey tribe, all that actually happened. You just turned it around. The French and English were the good guys, and the Dahomey tribe were the bad. Yeah, we can't make black people the bad guys, but that's real history. It's like, well, history is perception. Yes, there's real history, but it's like what they can teach people, what people remember is what they'll act on. That's the terrifying power of Hollywood. I don't know where I was going with that. No, woke is not over. So there's a lead time to making movies, right? And I get Trump just got elected, and a lot of people, myself included, didn't expect that to happen. Hollywood definitely did not expect that to happen. So for them to adjust to the vibe shift that has happened is real, and Trump in presidency, it's like, well, that's going to take a year and a half to make new movies and video games. So, okay, check back in 2 years. Have they adjusted to it? And there's no effing way. Forget about it. Like, celebrating way too early. Okay, fine. Come back in 18 months and see what kind of movies are coming out. You think there's going to be any? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They might dial things back a little bit. That just means like, oh, well, we're planning on having like all the characters are going to be trans by that time. So we're just going to dial things back to, like the Marvels level and the Eternals. What's the other garbage? Madam Web. Oh, so like diverse girl power. And this guy, this Captain America, but he's black and he has wings. It feels like a child making a character where you just start adding on powers to the character. It's just, stop. His real superpower should be able. I won't say it. Anyway, this was Mortal Hulk number 11, set during, I guess, peak Al Ewing, probably Trump derangement syndrome. He lives in England, and I guess he thinks white men are running around the streets of America, burning buildings down and deleting people. Al Ewing in England thinks this is Immortal Hulk number 11. You can find this online. That it's white men who are creating a hell on earth. Great artwork by I forget the guy's name, South American guy. He's working at Comicsgate now. And like the comic has a lot of potential, but it's like the first episode is number 1 is an issue on the Second Amendment, and a blonde-haired, green-eyed guy is robbing liquor stores, and he's part of a white motorcycle gang that just goes around yeeting people left and right. It's so freaking bizarre. And then this is number 11. I mean, this is this is over 5 years old, and this is 7 years old, and I remember it. And then there's another episode later on. It goes to 50, right? And there's so does Squirrel Girl, now that I think about it. There's another episode where there's a trans character. It's just like every stupid soup du jour woke. I mean, it's like 2025 and you're starting to think back, and it's still woke. Things are still woke, but you see how some things are dialing down a little bit. Like this level of woke just wouldn't sell these days. Just kind of insane Al Ewing echo chamber where he thinks, yeah, it's white college-educated guys with PhDs in physics who are just smashing things in cities, and they get rewarded for it. It's like, that's insane. Anyway, I still don't think for movies that things are going to change like people expect. And don't let them slip the Overton window back. With if a game's got a gay scene in it, or a black Moor lecturing you on whatever, it's like, just, you don't have to pay those people. The thing is, most people are just not interested in diversity, feminism, and gay stuff in general. And you got to normalize that concept to shove the window back to the far right as fast as possible. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next episode.